Mhm. Welcome back. I trust you're doing well and in your flow and ready for the next chapters as they unfold. Hmm. So I invite you to pour a cuppa and get comfortable while we run through and listen to some more stories. And the stories I want to tell today is the one of ancestral karma, ancestral ties that are being loosened up and that are being dropped because karma is something that we don't have to hang on to anymore. So a couple of decades ago, there was a wonderful young man who got involved with the right crowd, but who was also the wrong crowd. He was a master builder, and he was our grandfather, and he was amazing at what he did. But part of what he did was also in the gold industry, and it was in the time of the gold rush in Johannesburg, and they did well. They really did well. He helped this country in so many ways, and yet when we look back now, I can see that one of the reasons why I am so driven and enthusiastic about Gaia and protecting her is because I am paying back everything that my lineage has caused her in pain. Because my grandfather used to sink new mines in what is now known as the Gauteng province here in South Africa. And we all know what mining does to our beautiful mother. And things were going well for him, really well. And he had big contracts, such big contracts that he was able to actually purchase land and his own mines. And they started mining for themselves as well, while still running these other contracts and starting new mines and new developments. And then World War II started. And wherever you are in this beautiful blue planet right now, you've heard the stories, you've seen the movies, you've read the books, and you've listened to your ancestors and to what they had to say about that time. And we all know that it was hard and it was long years. It was years of what we can call drought, where a lot of atrocities happened. Now, for my lineage, a lot of shit went south there. Excuse the pun. A lot. And even though here in South Africa we had it a lot easier than it a lot easier than it was in Europe and in places in Europe, which I'm very grateful for. A lot of pain was still inflicted and a lot of hurt was done. And part of the things that went wrong for my family on my mum's side was that my grandfather lost everything because of the war, because of the sanctions, and because of everything that had to halt because of the war. Everything that they put into their own mines was lost. Equipment couldn't be brought in, labor couldn't be paid because each and every person and resource that was available had to go into the war. And that's where a lot of deep marks were left on that side of the family. Marks that were so deep that they showed on the face and the body of my grandmother. The one that still this ego mind wishes it had more time to spend with her while she was still here. Because we are the second youngest grandchild on that side, she was well into her years by the time that we hit high school. So the couple of years that I was fortunate enough to actually get to know my grandmother were some of the most wonderful years. She was she was an earth angel. She really was. And when you listen to the stories, I don't know how she made that age. I really don't. Because if I had to go through the abuse that she had, I seriously would have committed suicide long and quick after the kids left the home. Now I know that my grandfather got better with age, as a lot of people do, but it still doesn't heal everything that happened emotionally and even physically. Now I know when it comes to soul contracts that we decide on these things, and she played her role, and he played his role, and he had his reasons. And I love both of them, even though I never knew him personally, because he passed away when I was 7 or 8, so we never really got to know him. But from the type of man, from the stories that I hear from my cousins, I'm grateful that he never had to get to know this two-spirit grandchild of his, because I don't think he would have been able to deal with everything that we were and am. It would have been too way out of his comfort zone. Fortunately, my father's father was a little different. He had a harsh mouth, but he had a very big heart. And I know he did a lot of things wrong, but he did a lot more things right. When I look at how he raised his sons and his daughters, and he was definitely not perfect, but who of us are, and especially with everything that they went through in those times, they really did the best that they could. So I'm eternally grateful for the lineages that run through these veins, because on my mom's side, Irish, 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 and some German. And on my dad's side, it's Irish again, and then some British that goes all the way back to the Vikings. So there's a lot of Celt within these blood, and I love that because it's the Celt that keeps me so close to nature and Gaia and all the unseens who go by many words and many names in various languages. But always I'm grateful for the blood that runs through these veins. They taught us well, and they showed us what not to do. That's the end of this installment for now, until we talk again.